Hi everyone, it's P25 Hailfire again. Thanks for stopping by. Today we have another test server by Pixonic, and this weekend they are testing a lot of new and very exciting ideas. Two new weapons that are really interesting, and then also they're bringing back the Spectre, which was formerly called the Exorcist. The Spectre is, I believe, a medium robot. It has 4 medium weapon slots. No other robot in the game has this many medium slots that are available all at once. So it's a very deadly robot. And then on top of that, it also has the descend ability, the same as the Inquisitor. So this is a perfect ambush strike style of robot. It's very dangerous, and I'm curious to see how it will do. Also, we are testing 2 new weapons, the Arbalest, which is sort of a light trebuchet. I found it to be very impressive, you'll see in a minute. And then also the Dragoon. If the Redeemer is a heavy Terran, or Terran, I say Terran, then the Dragoon is basically a heavy Magnum, but it has a limited amount of pulses versus the Magnum's unlimited pulses. Instead, it reloads gradually, similar to how a Thunder reloads. So now let's take a look at how these weapons and robots perform in gameplay. The Arbalest, which again is basically a light trebuchet, really performs well because of its quick reload time, and it also deals pretty decent damage. I find that it works well with Nashorns because of their similar reload time. This setup didn't always work as well with Geckos because the Geckos take a slightly longer time to fully reload, and their discharge time is a bit longer. So I think the Arbalest works even better with the Nashorns than Geckos would. However, I wanted to see how powerful the Arbalests are on their own, so I put 4 on a pattern, and the results were absolutely incredible. It's a very, very dangerous setup, and I personally would prefer it over the pattern with Geckos, and possibly even over any trebuchet setup, maybe except for the Butch with trebuchets. This thing reloads so quickly, and it does almost as much damage in the same amount of time. So I think that this would also be a better alternative to trebuchets outright. As you see in this game, I was able to do a tremendous amount of damage, and also because of the pattern's higher speed versus the Fury, I think that this is a better alternative. It does almost as much damage, but it's able to move faster and fire more frequently. So I think this is actually a better alternative to the Fury Trebuchet and the Patent Gecko. That's just my opinion though. Anyone is free to disagree with me, but personally, I would run this over almost any other Trebuchet or Gecko setup. The Dragoon was very interesting. I loved how much damage it did, and I loved that I could hang back at 550 or 500 meters and still do considerable damage. However, I think that it's a bit too much like the Redeemer, but with a longer range. So I feel like it's almost replacing the Redeemer even though it just came out. So I don't think that's necessarily right. And also I feel like it threatens the Zeus as well. So I'm not entirely sure what should be done with this. I think it's a great concept, but I'm not sure what Pixonic is trying to do with this. I don't know if it's meant to be a better Redeemer, or if it's meant to be a replacement to the Zeus. Either way, I think there just needs to be a bit more clarity in where this weapon stands, because it's kind of somewhere in between, and that makes it a little confusing. But overall, in how the weapon performs, I think it's great, and I say it probably needs to have its range decreased a little bit because of the damage it does. Unless it's meant to replace the Zeus, I think then it's right where it needs to be. So it really just depends on what Pixonic wants to do with this weapon. As for the Spectre, I think this robot is very deadly. It's a huge threat to any other robot on the battlefield. Basically, it's a glass cannon because it has about the same health as a Galahad. So when that ability is off, you have to get behind cover quickly because anyone can easily destroy you. The Spectre is meant to be played as more of an ambush style robot. You basically hide behind cover until that descend ability is ready, then you rush in, use your weapons, destroy whoever's there, and get out of there as quickly as possible while you're still cloaked. Because if you are out in the open without your stealth, you are almost certain to get destroyed. Not only because your health is so low, but because if you see a Spectre on the battlefield, you know it's going to be a threat. So everyone's going to be gunning for you in the same way that everyone always goes after an Inquisitor. Also, you're very vulnerable to damage. Even passing stray bullets, anything can have a huge impact on the health and performance of this robot. By playing it the way it's meant to be played as an ambush style robot, I was actually able to complete a game and do very well in terms of damage with only 2 Spectres. I used a Spectre with Terrans and another one with Orkans, and those 2 robots were enough to carry me through this entire game. I was really impressed with the robot. I really like the play style. I love the ambush kind of tactic, but I almost feel like it could be a little more fragile. It still seemed to be decently strong, and I'm just not sure about it. I feel like there's just a little bit more that needs to be done to balance it, but I think that Pixonic is definitely going in the right direction. I can't put my finger on what needs to be done, but I feel like there's just a little bit more tweaking needed to be done to this robot before it's ready to go onto the live server. However, I think it's a really interesting idea, and I'm very curious to see how much devastation this robot will be capable of in the live server. It's definitely a very deadly threat, even in the test server right now, against other Spectres, so this should be very interesting. Well, to close out this video, I'm going to let you all see the rest of this game that I had with my Spectres. I hope you all enjoyed this, and I hope that it was a helpful look into the future and the way that war robots is starting to go. The Spectre, Arbalest, and Dragoon, I believe, should be coming pretty soon, so definitely be on the lookout for them. And my personal suggestion, try to get some Arbalest. The Dragoon, I think, is a maybe, maybe not. I'm not completely sure yet. The Spectre, obviously, it'd be cool to have one. Probably not essential, but then again, we didn't know if the dashes would be essential or not, and in higher level gameplay they have proven to be. So I think we should wait and see how they do against dashes before we look into investing in getting one. I hope that this video was really helpful to you guys, and until next time, enjoy, and this is P25 Hailfire signing off. See you next time.